Shout out BigSteve.
What up? We're back again one last time. Dynamite Contender Series episode 10. Can't say I won't miss it, but yeah, glad it's gone. I'm gonna enjoy Monday and Tuesday off for a bit. How are you, mate? Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, well, good, mate. Coming off, we're both coming off a nice win last week on the last Contender Series, so hopefully we'll finish off this last week with another W.
That's it. When we line up, it usually works out. Both on Bellado, both on Ruffy. We call the overs. You call the over in the Bellado at Big Money and in Medina. And yeah, I threw my money away on the Medina under once it came in. Yeah. Sometimes retaping it just does more harm than good. I retaped it and just kept seeing Medina hurt and give up bad positions in back mount. And I'm like, oh man, even though this Russian's not good, surely he'll mount him at some point.
Yeah.
And he kind of hurt him to the body multiple times, but yeah, just slapping. You're not going to knock out Medina with like these slapping kicks to the body. So
nah.
Oh well, Bellado saved me and Bellado live as well because I gave away a bit of profits by hedging Tyler. But yeah, profit is profit. Let's finish profit on this one as well, shall we?
Let's do it.
Let's get into it. So the first fight is a very high level fight. We got Davy Bittencourt versus Lucas Rocha. Two very high level Brazilian dudes in my opinion, possibly both UFC level. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. And yeah, this was meant to happen last week at flyweight. Rocha missed weight. I was going to retape it because it was last two episodes of the season. I really wanted to tape, really wanted profit, so I didn't mind spending the extra time. And didn't get a chance because it got rebooked, and I didn't get a chance to retape it now. Originally, I didn't have a proper lean, hence why I wanted to retape. I felt like maybe Davy at slight plus money had a bit of value because I've seen Rocha hurt multiple times. I contemplated fading him in his LFA fight in his last one, and I didn't, and he won. But he was backpacked for majority of round 1 and 3 and still won due to volume and output. He's got good striking, good volume, whereas Davy is a bit more physical. He throws, wide looping hooks, and he has more power, and he looks to grapple more. But yeah, Lucas also has good grappling. He goes for triangle chokes. He can survive the bad positions. He's scrambly, but he gives up those positions, which maybe if Davy can blanket him for a bit, I think maybe he can even drop him, hit him, crack him. This Davy, man, incredibly active. One fight in 2017, and then since 2019, he's amassed this record of 14-3. So that's, what is that? 16 fights in 4 years, man. That's crazy. So I mean, just in 2021, he's got like 10 or close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I didn't have a strong lean because it seems competitive. They both seem good. I don't want to, Twitter seems to be all over Davy, which scares me away a bit. I wanted to look at the under potentially. I wanted to also be on Davy, but I thought if he kind of doesn't knock him out, maybe even if he drops him, Lucas feels like one of these guys that comes on late with the output and volume, and then I just didn't want to force anything. So I'll let you add something if you have anything to add, mate.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I didn't look into it. Like I didn't do tape again after obviously doing tape the week they were scheduled, and then it got cancelled. But I remember thinking kind of like the line hasn't really moved at all, has it? So it's kind of even still. And
it's going up and down, which is making me want to pass. Someone has a bit of a lean, and then the other person has a lean, and then move the line back to pick 'em, which I reckon it's probably around pick 'em.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just think it's hard to pick a side for me. So I'm just, in terms of money line, I'm staying away. But I mean, Costa's been finished in all 3 of his losses, and there was a fight where Rocha was dropped like 2 or 3 times. So maybe something like the under 2.5, which is like minus 135 at the moment. Seems to be a little bit of bad blood today at the weigh-ins. But then obviously these are, I guess they're finding out bantamweight, aren't they? This fight, but still, like, I could see a finish. So if I was to play anything, it'd probably be the under 2.5. But I won't get that until tomorrow, so we'll see what it is when I get it on my books. But yeah, nothing on the money line side, but possibly the under.
Yeah, we agree. A bunch of comments that I agree with GRBK. If it loads up, I think it's just frozen. Yeah, low. Oh, great.
I can hear you, but you're frozen.
Oh, can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
I think, yeah, just, I don't know why this tab is frozen. Yeah, GRBK said two weight cuts for Davy, which is why I wanted to jump on Rocha, because Rocha didn't actually cut properly the first time. But then it's also a bantamweight, so who the hell knows, man?
Yeah, exactly.
The whole fight, everything about the fight screams a pass. But let's move on. I'm just going to keep going. I've got the red wheel of death on my screen, so I'm just going to keep going. As long as you can hear me.
Yep.
Isakov versus Marquel. I don't know his last name because I can't see on my tab. Yeah, I mean, Isakov, his name was familiar to me. He says he's Belgian on his Brave FC tape, but I think it says Luxembourg on Typology. He did fight in his last fight in Serbia, Brave FC. And yeah, he seems to be like a decent dude. I recognize his name from taping Chikeli a lot from Bellator. And I know Chikeli was a can crusher up to that point, and Isakov was 8-0. And I was like, wow, he knocked out this Isakov guy. So maybe he's not only killing cans. And, now I'm seeing Isakov and, he's on Contender Series. So that answers my question about him. But I've seen Isakov hurt and wobbled a lot, actually, even in the fights that he wins. Now, this other Marquel guy, I don't have the biggest read. Like I said, 6 fights. I had a really busy Sunday and Monday. So this is one of the ones that I taped in my car on the way to training and back. Yeah, Isakov seems to have a game plan. Just jump on the back, squeeze him out, try win. Keeps hunting for the rear naked choke. He's a bit of a blanket. And yeah, that's his game. And he gets dropped a lot. So I know he's a slight favorite. Honestly, considering a dog, I've seen enough from Marquel. I've seen him knock out a dude. I've seen him stuff a few takedowns. I've seen him go for his own heavy game plan, a wrestle heavy game plan himself. So yeah, I think if anything, maybe the Isakov line is accurate. But yeah, it's a dog or pass for me. What about you?
Yeah, it's climbing a bit, Markel's line, kind of up to plus 150 now, which is kind of it was kind of plus 120, that kind of area, and I wasn't really interested, but now it's kind of getting up there. It's starting to look a little bit more interesting. But yeah, you kind of said it. Isa has his set path, and he does that every fight. He goes for takedowns, got a really nice single leg, pretty heavy on top. I think he's a pretty, decent grappler overall. Striking is a bit underwhelming, quite hittable. And he obviously slowed down a lot from the pressure from Grabinski, which is his one of his losses. Yeah, this Medeiros guy fighting out Factory X, 26, so he's 7 years younger, 1 inch taller. He's fought 3 times already this year. He's got fast, accurate punches, hard leg kicks. As you said, I've seen him stop a couple of takedowns, but there's still a little bit of a question mark. I'm not really confident that he'll be able to stop the takedowns of Isakov. I think he probably will get taken down in the first round, maybe, but I don't know how he'll defend the single leg. I didn't see that on tape, but yeah, I think with this line climbing up to where it is, plus 150, if it keeps going, I think I'll probably have to put something on Medeiros just because Isakov's style is not very Dana White Contender Series friendly. So maybe he'll, decide to stand and bang, or not go for as many takedowns or something. But yeah, I understand the dog shot, and now that it's not plus 120 and it's climbing, I'm getting interested.
Yeah, we agree there. It's weird that this last episode has a few Isakovs on here. The dudes that might stick up the joint with their style.
Yeah, no.
You would think the matchmakers would want to end the season with a bang. But yeah, who knows? Maybe you get sparked, and yeah, we got an exciting fight. Because I can't see anything, maybe you can introduce the next fight.
Yeah, so this is William Knight Jr.
Right.
Torres-Finny versus Yuri Panfarov.
Nice. Am I still frozen? I am, right?
Yeah, you are frozen.
I wanna just like exit, but I don't know if it's gonna end the stream, so we'll just keep going until the last fight, and then.
Can you turn your camera off on the StreamYard thing and then turn it back on?
No, everything's frozen. My Google Chrome is frozen. Yeah.
Oh, well, I can still hear you. It's all good.
I'll just leave it.
So yeah, Torres-Finny. This guy, man, he's 5'7" at middleweight, and I think he's also fought at heavyweight before. He is fucking yacked. He is like built like a bodybuilder. But he wastes no time, goes straight for the takedown. He's a pretty strong wrestler. I think the commentators said that he's a D1 wrestler, but I might have misheard. He goes for like crazy high amplitude takedowns, like slams, and he's heavy on top. For his build, his cardio, it looks all right, to be fair. But again, he's been having his way with these low-level guys, and obviously, like, he's slamming these dudes around like nothing. But yeah, he just looks a bit silly when he's striking, just because he's so muscle bound. But yeah, obviously, just incredibly strong dude, and goes to wrestling straight away. Panov, he was on that episode, the last episode of Looking for a Fight, and he got dropped really bad in that fight, but I think he came back and won by submission. He hasn't gone very long in fights, I don't think. He's only 6-0 as a pro, but every fight has ended in round 1. So yeah, he that's kind of worrying, versus a guy that we know has gone 3 rounds and can go 3 rounds. It's not ideal, but he kind of wants to get on top and land ground and pound, and get rear naked chokes and kimuras and stuff. But yeah, I just don't think I don't have a good enough read on his takedown defense, and I think I'm inclined to believe that Finny will probably take him down with ease. So what's the line sitting at now? I think Finny's a massive favorite, isn't he? Well, he's like minus 240, yeah.
Yeah, it's not massive, but it's definitely unplayable in my opinion.
Oh yeah. I can't play a 5'7" middleweight at minus 240, but Panfarov's just too much of a question mark really to play him either, even though he's like getting up to plus 200. Yeah, I think this is a pass fight. I haven't really looked at any of the props or anything. What's the over 1.5? Oh, okay. The over 1.5 is minus 105, under 1.5 minus 125. Yeah, maybe I'll have a think about those. But in terms of money line, nothing for me. I don't know if you looked into this too deeply or not.
I have. This is one that I have. It's a tough one because like Yuri seems to have the better jiu-jitsu. Like obviously all his wins are finishes, and he's got a lot of red flags, right? Like really awful matchups. 8-12 guy. It's 46 years old. 2-4, 4-4 is his best opponent. The guy that's 50-50. and that guy dropped him bad as well. Almost knocked him out.
Mm-hmm.
So like the way he fights is, all systems go, and no regard for defense. And I've seen that Kimura was slick that he hit on that guy that dropped him. Davy or Horatio Jr. in his last, and he was a light heavyweight and he's dropping down to middleweight, which is good. In a more natural weight class. 6 foot, and maybe he can match the physicality of Finney, because if he was, let's say, if they were in the same weight class and Yuri still looked like he did at light heavyweight, then I would definitely think he's undersized and Finney was going to throw him around.
Mm.
So he's in the right weight class at least, and he's finishing these dudes. So Finney is finishing him as well, but like a lot of his finishes come late. After he's sat on them for 3 rounds. It's quite boring. He might stick up the joint, but yeah, the way Yuri fights is he throws a lot of ground and pound. He goes for back control. I don't like how the 2 fights I've seen him like purposely fall off the back, and I've done this too. But I'm white belt. Like he's got the back and he's itching over the head, like looking for a armbar or something or a triangle, and I'm like, dude, he's gonna fall off unless he's setting up an armbar, and then he just falls off, and it's the easiest thing for his opponent to shake him. And I've seen that twice, and it's like, dude, don't go for that armbar if you're bad at it. He just keeps doing it. It's so amateurish. So I don't know. Like I don't know if this guy's good or if he's a fraud, because from amateurs to pro, all his level of competition is horrendous. But you can tell he has good jiu-jitsu. Like you can tell. I liked seeing him hurt in that last fight because it showed that he has grit. He got hurt and instantly came back and finished the guy. Like he's not a flake, that's for sure. So this is one of the first dog that I strongly considered. How's Finney going to cover this line? He is extremely submission over position, whereas Yuri is the other way around. So maybe Finney just keeps staying on top. Maybe if Yuri keeps getting positions, he's going to keep falling off, and this is going to be a classic. The more patient and the better wrestler just wins a boring decision, stinks up the joint. But there's not much footage of Yuri off his back either, like you said, and takedown defense is just. I'm considering just taking a poke because the line is big.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's even over unders, like the overs at minus money, even though Yuri has all these finishes and Finney can crack, and Finney hasn't finished many good guys. But if they're going to give him openings like Yuri, maybe he can, like, because he does hit hard.
Oh, it's just me. Well, I guess I'll go on to the next fight then. Conor Matthews versus Faras. I'll just assume that Steve's going to max bet Panov, so I'll move on. Conor Matthews, he has been on the Contender Series before. He fought Marshall, what's his name? He fought Francis Marshall, that's it. He's fighting out of New England Cartel. He's got decent striking offense early, but his defense definitely needs work. He seems to have a good chin, very tough. He took some bombs from Francis. The issue with him is that every time he's left round one, he's lost. And even though he's winning all his fights by like jiu-jitsu, he's back.
Wait, when did you stop hearing me?
You were about to max bet Yuri, no? Or just before?
Did I almost finish the breakdown?
Yeah, you were pretty much done.
Yeah, I just asked you something and you didn't respond, and I was like, oh no, and then I had to get rid of the chat. That's all right, I'm back. So yeah, we all agreed on it. And did I talk about the over unders?
No, no.
Yeah, I was saying even the over unders are like, you play the under's minus money, but Finney can just sit on him, with good positions, and then you play the under, and it's like you play the over, and Yuri's just got all these finishes in round one, and he's got bad defense, and obviously William Knight can crack. So yeah, who the hell knows, man? But it's definitely a dog or pass for me.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know how you can bet Finney.
I don't know. Maybe there's people that lost money on William Knight. They just like want to rage bet him, bet Finney. All right, let's see. Let's address these comments because I haven't seen him in so long. Scott, thank you, gentlemen. Under sounds good. I wonder what fight that is. David L, thank you, sir. This is the man that I paid out $75 for getting the competition right.
Nice.
You froze. Thanks for telling me, mate. I couldn't see it there. I actually am a ventriloquist in my other job. Where is Big Bird? I don't know, mate. It doesn't live with me. Why is everyone asking me where Big Bird is? I like the over. Finney doesn't seem good at holding people down, but not. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot to mention that. He's not the best at controlling, so surely, he might take Yuri down, but yeah, I might play Yuri, man. Finney went the distance, Yuri never did. Yeah, but it's like level of competition. Is this true? Does Finney look gassed? I don't think he looked gassed. I mean, he's got a bunch of round 3 finishes. So.
Yeah, I don't know if he looks gassed, but he's just because he's so so muscle bound, he looks a bit sloppy maybe. But
Big Bird and BigSteve having domestic issues. Romious' bedroom drama. Nice. Finney just holds people down. Yeah, addressed. Rest in peace, Steve. I'm back. Address the chat. I am. This the under on Davy and Rocha was actually minus 130, like you said, but he ended up picking him on bet online, so the money came the other way this morning. But it just feels like the money line. People can't decide: do they play the over? Do they play the under? It's. I mean, they're both. I was going to say they both seem durable, but Rocha doesn't really. All right, let's move on, man.
I was breaking down Conor Matthews when he came
back from the dead.
No, it's all good.
Do you want to keep going?
Yeah, I'll just finish off Conor Matthews. So yeah, I was just saying that he's pretty good early, like pretty good striking early and stuff, but the issue is that he doesn't, like, every time he's left round one, he's lost. And I actually haven't seen him take anyone down, even though he's got all these finishes on the ground. Like, I've never actually seen him take anyone down. It's always knocking down these really low-level guys. And then he comes up against a decent guy in Francis Marshall when he gets kind of dominated for 3 rounds. Faras, another guy fighting out of the fighting nerds gym. Obviously, they're doing really well at the moment.
Very well indeed.
Yeah. 5'11" at featherweight, and he's a big boy. You see you posted the picture of the face-off. Yeah, he's massive. He towers over Conor. I didn't realize that the difference was going to be that big. But maybe Conor wasn't wearing shoes. I don't know. But yeah, he's a patient striker. Pretty light on the feet, rangy weapons, great, build for the weight class. Hard leg kicks, cardio. I think it looked all right, but obviously the issue with Faras is that he's had one fight since 2019. But he did beat a 13-7 guy in his last fight in Centurion FC. I don't know if it's the highest level promotion, but yeah, he beat a guy who had only been knocked out once, and he knocked him out in the first round. So he's obviously got power. But the fight before his layoff, I think versus Oliveira, he was down 2 rounds from getting wrestled, basically for 2 rounds, and then was getting wrestled in the 3rd round, and then Oliveira kicked him in the chin and broke his toe. So he won that fight, but really he lost that fight because if he didn't break
a KO, just added to his KO streak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. fucking broke his toe on his chin. So
Or
yeah,
his foot, who knows?
I don't know. It looked like literally just the tip of his toe touched his chin. But anyway, but yeah, it's hard to be confident. I can see why Farias is the favourite, because Matthews, basically never wins anything if it goes longer than 5 minutes. But at the same time, he's with the New England cartel at the moment, or has been since, I think, the Marshall fight. Could be making improvements, although he's 31. But then looking at the line, I think some money has actually come in on him now, and he's like plus 130, plus 145. So I don't know. I'm curious on your thoughts. I don't know if I'm just being tempted into Matthews because I'm overestimating how much of he's improved. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, that's the first thought that I had. He was actually 135, 140 yesterday as well. I've been looking at it all day, and it's been the same today for me. Yeah, I mean, I faded this guy, around this time in Europe last year against Marshall. I think it was around Pick'em. Marshall might have even been the dog, but you look at Marshall now, he's pretty respectable UFC fighter. So big step up from absolute bums that he's fought, and yeah, I mean, he's got good advantages, man. Like he's got pop in his hands, he throws hard, he's got a really good back take and rear naked choke finish. He finishes a lot of those as soon as he gets their back. Like a lot of them don't survive. Now, everything you said is makes a lot of sense. With the cartel, which is a great gym. I think he was at some bum gym before. He made a point.
Lozons.
Yeah. I mean, Randy Costner came out of Lozon as well, so it's like there's a theme of them getting like squash matches and then coming to the UFC, and then as soon as it goes over 5 minutes, they can't really handle it. Yeah, I mean, I like what I've seen from him, and he got extended for the first time, and he took an ungodly amount of punishment, and he showed a good chin against Marshall. He did gas as well. Maybe if he didn't gas so quickly, he would have done a bit better. But yeah, he survived. We've seen Rojo get absolutely deaded with one of those right hands, and he just kept eating a lot of them. He's got heart. He's like an army guy. Like he's not going to quit. And he went out to another gym, a much better gym, and I watched an interview just to see. And he's like, yeah, this is what I was missing. High level fighters pushing me all the time in the gym, which I didn't have before. And it's like you can only imagine how much he's going to level up. Like he already had the tools. He wasn't a bad fighter. He's just running through everyone. And the last thing I seen, he finally got someone that wasn't a bum, and outside of Marshall, and Andrew Cruz, who was 8-4. And at first I watched the fight, and he ran through him again. Dropped him, rear naked choke, the typical. And I was like, oh no, another bum. But I guess he won. And yeah, look at his 8-4. He's got some good wins. Andrew Cruz in LFA as well, beat an 11-0 guy. He's a purple belt, or he is according to Topology picture. I didn't look deep into him, but I just had to see that he's not a complete warm body. And apparently he's got a wrestling background as well. So just another guy that's a bit of a step up, and handle him accordingly. So yeah, he's got those tools, man. He can hit hard. He's got a rear naked choke, and hopefully the cardio's improved. And I like playing these dudes that are coming back to contender series. There's a chance they're not going to gas as bad as the first time. Bellato the first time, horrible game plan. Bellato the second time, I think shocked us both. Didn't do anything stupid. Stupid at all. And on top of that, fought incredibly smart. Like, I was blown away. I was blown away by his takedown defense as well. And he's like, yeah, I was training so hard. When you get this second opportunity, these dudes go out, all out. So, and more so, I taped Faria, and I wasn't really impressed with his tape. And it's, also really, really bad level of competition. That guy that, was beating him, Luan Oliveira, and then kicked him in the chin, and it looked like he hit him with the top of the foot, like the bottom top part, just under the toes. So it probably broke his, like, a lot of the bones in that foot. That's like the softest, just like your hand, a lot of small bones in there. But just weird that it would react like that. Like you got 2 more minutes and you win the fight, just like fucking play it off.
Yeah.
He's like screaming on the ground and shit. Like heaps of people have broken their foot before, and won. But yeah, so that probably would have been a loss. And I'm like, all right, Connor can probably get the takedowns here, maybe get his back. There's obviously issues here with his takedown defense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got power too. Faras is like a typical. We've seen this Brazilian archetype so many times. Tall, long, fluid striker with power, but issues with takedown defense, issues with physicality. So I feel like Conor can definitely throw him around. I feel like he can crack him. But yeah, that size difference is massive. We've seen the biggest
Yeah.
issue with Conor is his striking defense in a Mitchell fight, and then this guy's gonna have long reach, straight punches. I wish there was a little bit more money on a little bit more juice on the dog. And if Conor doesn't finish him, what's his decision equity? Because he's one win after contender again. It was a round one. That's what scares me. And this Faras has gone long a few times. He's got a bunch of decisions in round 2 submission and round 3, retirement. And he seemed fine in that round 3. Other than getting wrestled, he wasn't really gassed. But that's the thing, and that was in 2019, and then he hasn't fought for 4 years, and then knocked out that Elvis Silva. I think Elvis Silva has fought Gabriel Santos in the UFC. I think he's fought the who's who in regionals. Yeah, Gabriel Santos. In a 5-round title fight. He's a veteran. And yeah, Faras ran through him. So it's like, what happened from 2019 to 2023? Is this like massive improvement that we haven't seen because his fight was only 2 minutes long? But yeah, I'm leaning the dog here, and I'm leaning potentially, if you're gonna play Faras, you're gonna play by KO. Maybe, I don't want to say that's a lock, and maybe the unders. Old mate Conor Matthews has a lot of round 1 equity, and maybe even submission. How many people has he knocked out? A lot of time he locks in the rear naked choke. So maybe just play Conor Matthews submission and go from there. But another dog I'm considering.
Yeah, I'd be much more inclined to play Conor if I'd actually seen him hit a takedown. Like I literally we have no idea how good his wrestling is really, because he hasn't taken anyone down.
I swear I've seen him take someone down. Didn't he take Marshall down or something, or attempt it?
He might have attempted, but I don't think it was successful.
You're making me second guess it now, but I remember watching the Marshall fight and being impressed in, like, he's not a fraud.
No.
I remember I lost some money on the unders there as well, because I thought as soon as he gets out of, he's got finishing equity, and as soon as he gets out of round 1, he's probably going to gas if he's a fraud. And yeah, he made it. So I was impressed, and I think he stuffed a few Marshall takedowns as well. Surely, yeah. I just get the feeling that he might have good offensive wrestling. But, I mean, you probably don't need that much offensive wrestling to take this guy down. All right. Let's move on. Ryan Poba, thanks for listening, mate. I don't remember seeing your name around here. Anyone got stats on second appearances day in like contender series? Would be interesting to see. I think they're pretty good, mate. They're pretty good. Obviously, you got jobbers like Pickett, who need 3 chances, and Stephen Wynn, that just won by KO as well. But yeah, I think coming back the second time is a good base for contender series, because it's the nerves the first time that you really don't anticipate, and then you come back and you experience, and yeah, you don't want to mess up the second opportunity. All right, let's move on. This is, speaking of dogs I'm considering, we've got Rick Santai Zened versus Andre Lima Mascotte. Yeah, just another dog I'm considering, providing Zened is still a dog. I think Lima was a decent dog. Let me just check again in the background. But yeah, this seems like a striking fight either way. Lima has issues with his takedown defense. And, I would say maybe a slightly better level of competition, just because he's fought, the last fight in LFA. See a SFT, decent level as well on Brazil. But yeah, he can be taken down, but he's got some nice jiu-jitsu. He's backpacked people. He's gone for a knee bar in his Spartacus fight that I watched. But yeah, generally just seems like, a Muay Thai guy. He's got a kickboxing record as well. And Rick Santai Zened, this guy only watched 3 of his fights. I mean, he's fought him, or he was about to fight in bare knuckle boxing, and he just skirts on the outside. He's young. They're both young. They're both 24. Skirts on the outside, looks to strike. He can also be taken down, and, he also seems to have jiu-jitsu as well. He knocked out Carlos Huachin, who was a dude in the UFC from Peru back before the Peru meta, and every single Peru dude that came into UFC and Contender won. Yeah, it was a bit of an underwhelming guy, but somewhat of a name, and he knocked him out. So yeah, I see a lot of similarities between these guys, and I'm not sure why one of them is such a big favorite. Maybe because of the LFA connection, and maybe because 2 fights ago, Zalim lost, to Rodrigo Vera, whereas Lima's undefeated. But Rodrigo Vera, another good Peruvian, 15-1. His Dana White Contreras series invite must have got lost in the mail because he seems like the perfect dude for Contender, honestly. But yeah. I mean, I don't have much to add. You just definitely have to dig deep into this one. It seems like two young Brazilian strikers. They're literally both 24, identical age, and I don't have much to separate them at the moment. So just another dog I'm considering, and I'll look into it some more before I lock a play in. What about you, mate?
Yeah, this is a pretty good fight. This Andre Lima guy, he's quite fun to watch. He's primarily a striker, as you say, a lot of kickboxing experience. I think some Muay Thai fights thrown in there, but yeah, he's got steady pressure on the feet and throws with power. He's got quite good defense on the feet as well. I think you mentioned his grappling's not too bad either. He's hit a couple trip takedowns and
Judo throws,
and yeah, I've seen him hit a couple nice sprawls when people go to take him down, and I don't know, he seems for a striker, I think probably his background is striking. He seems fairly well rounded. Yeah, the other guy on the other side, Hickson Tai is Zened. His striking's okay. He skirts on the outside, as you say. He moves a lot. He never stops moving. He strikes a lot, but he's got 10 fights, or 10 wins by submission. So, he's not a terrible grappler himself, but obviously not the highest level of competition. But yeah, in both of his, or not both of his losses, sorry, but in his one loss, he got wrestled for 3 rounds and basically dominated. And then versus Valentin, he got wrestled for 2 rounds and then found a finish early in round 3. So his weakness is definitely his grappling, or his takedown defense at least. And we've seen him be controlled on the ground by 2 different people. So, and that wasn't that long ago. So we know that's his weakness. But Lima's probably not going to go to it. I think he's probably going to want to strike, especially with it being Contender Series. In terms of who's better on the feet, I would probably I'd definitely go Lima. I think that's probably why he's the favorite, as well as the other things that you mentioned. Yeah, I'm not really. Obviously, I'm not going to bet anyone on the Contender Series at -250, -275. But I do favor him quite a lot to win. I'm not really impressed that much by this Zened guy, even though he's got a lot of finishes. I don't know. Something about him that just doesn't really interest me, even at +200. Maybe look at some of the over-unders. Under 2.5 is -150. I don't know. Both these guys seem kind of durable. I don't know about that. But yeah, nothing on the money line for me.
Yep. I can't disagree with you about not being impressed, because I have to look into it some more. But just on the surface level, I was like, all right, these guys have the same issues. The guy, the Vera loss, there was a lot of grappling, so literally the same issues. Yeah. Still can't play the favorite.
No.
Look into it some more, and let's move on to the main event. Let's share this tab instead. So we got Ramon Taveras versus Claudius. Are you not entertained? Romious. I was always going to say that full name. Beautiful. Yeah. So Roman Taveras is coming back. He was on episode 5. I will never forget episode 5, because that's when I lost $5,000 and almost solidified myself not having a good profit for this season. But yeah, I taped him, in him deep. I don't know what I was going to say there. I taped him extensively. And yeah, he's predominantly a boxer, even though his toughest opponent, Martin Day, he rear naked choke, guillotined nice and early. But yeah, southpaw boxer, got good power. I'm impressed with his power. I looked at a lot of his fights, even amateurs, to see some takedowns and takedown defense. And yeah, he can be taken down. He kind of gets up, but you kind of have to fill in the blanks because he has a lot of really really bad opponents that are not really trying to grapple him. And yeah, I mean, I played him because he's fighting City, and I wasn't impressed by City, but I found his one loss, and it was by KO in 30 seconds over a 5-5 dude, and it was with a head kick. So I had questions about his chin, and I think that last result, even though it was an early stoppage where he got instantly dropped by City, who I don't think hits that hard, kind of answered my questions about his chin there. And Romious, I only taped 2 fights of him now, and then I kind of realized that I've taped this guy before. So I played his last fight against Nate Williams, who is one of the tougher opponents he's faced. He's lost to General Lugo, which I watched. Competitive fight, impressive. Lugo is a decent fighter. You could even say he's UFC level. But yeah, Nate Williams, I know my boy Pierce, advocated for donating on Williams, and I just played the under there. I thought Williams is a bum, and he armbarred him there. Like, he can lose position. He's quite aggressive. He's a little meatball, very explosive, kind of like the smaller version of Finney or William Knight. But yeah, and a little bit more reckless, a little bit more wild. And yeah, he's got good wrestling. He's very strong, powerful. But he's off his back. He's got a good rear naked choke. But if he falls off his back, he's got a good armbar, which he's hit 2 times in a row. And Nate Williams is a black belt. I'm not going to say a high level black belt because I've been making fun of him in my Discord for a while now. He's probably as bad of a black belt as you can get on the professional level. But yeah, armbarring a black belt from bottom is still impressive. So yeah. I definitely favor Romious. I mean, I think he's got a few avenues here. I mean, he can wrestle. If Ramon is as chinny as I think he is, he can probably run through him with a KO. The early line $1.60 was actually available to me when I contemplated it, and I just said, I'm not going to force anything on this last week. Let's just let it simmer. And now it's past -200, and who knows? Maybe when I refresh with Taveras, maybe I'll still think there's value there. But I do know Taveras can crack. He's got good boxing. I did play him as a dog for a reason. I also didn't like his cardio, and that city dude was a dog. So I'll have to look into Cortavius' cardio if he gets extended. I think he's just he's got the decision equity, he's got the wrestling, he's got the submission equity. But nothing I'm rushing to play. I'll have to go deep to see if I like any over-unders. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I'll be playing Taveras for sure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I watched quite a few of Romius's fights. Most of his tapes on YouTube, so it's pretty easy to find. Yeah, I mean, you kind of said it all. Like, he's aggressive on the feet, decent boxing, good wrestling. His cardio looks okay. He does get quite sloppy, and kind of once it goes after that, over that kind of 1.5 rounds mark. But yeah, very active with subs. Looks to get to mount all the back and just hunt the sub. Not a lot of ground and pound. Didn't see a lot of ground and pound. He's mainly a sub hunter. But yeah, multiple arm bars on his record. But I think you alluded to it. He can get, he can find himself on his back, he can get taken down and controlled and stuff. But he's pretty athletic. He does often, spring up. But yeah, Taveras, we talked about him on episode 5. I think he's good, man. I know you say he's chinny, and maybe he is. Obviously, he got dropped versus City, but he was winning that fight until then. He was landing good shots.
Yeah, I'm making assumptions because there's, other than the head kick KO loss, there's no other footage really.
Yeah, no, he did get head kicked early and obviously got dropped versus City, but I don't know. I like him. I like his striking, even though it's very kind of like meat and potatoes, just straight boxing and stuff. I like that he's southpaw. I don't know how many. I'd have to go back and check how many southpaws Romious has fought, but yeah, he's got good fundamentals and stuff. Takedown defense, a bit of a question mark. I think probably Romious can probably hit takedowns, especially early. But I just think this line's getting a little bit out of hand now. I think, Romious is going to be the smaller guy. I mean, he's always a smaller guy, so that's not anything new to him. But I think Taveras has gone from fighting someone who's like 6 foot, 5'11" to fighting someone shorter than him. I think he'll be able to land, keep his range, even though he's got a lot of like close range weapons and stuff. But plus 200, plus 188 is kind of getting up to where it's like this Romious guy's semi kind of unknown. So I'm like, I'm willing to roll the dice on Taveras, so I know he's got good striking, and I've seen Romious hurt. But again, it was like 4 years ago.
Which
terms
fight?
of, I think it was, I think it was Jacob Thrall in Shamrock. It wasn't like he wasn't like really hurt, but he did kind of like hit him, and I think he took a knee or went down or got dropped. So, but yeah, he recovered and obviously went on to win a decision. But in terms of dogs on this card, I'm definitely going to probably take Taveras. He's probably one of my most liked dogs of the card. So, yeah, tell me what you think if you do any more tape or go any deeper or anything. Like, let me know. But I'm on the dog on this one, I think.
I for sure will, man. That's exciting that you like it. Like I said, when we line up, like Roofy and Bellardo last week, then it's always a smash spot. But yeah, I wish I've gone deep on this one. I just thought I don't have to go deep because I remember. But I'm as soon as I get off the podcast now, I'll do it. But yeah, I guess that's another dog to the list. I'll quickly go over it. So the first fight, I mean, I don't think I'm going to find any edge, at Pick'em now. It's settled at Pick'em, which I think the line is accurate, unless the over-unders. Isakov, Medeiros, I'm considering Medeiros. I don't think Isakov is much of a big favorite kind of guy, especially if he can't get the rear naked choke. Finny, Yuri, I'm really considering Yuri, especially when someone in the chat reminded me that he has bad control. So that's props. Props to you because I forgot about that. Farias, Matthews. I mean, I'm considering Matthews. I'm just a little bit scared away by that size. There was another week where I liked like every single dog, and I passed. It was Silva versus Silva in the first one, and the first Silva was a flyweight, and he always came in underweight, and the other Silva from Shooter Box was way too big, and I just passed on that one, and the size ended up being a difference. And the two dogs that I did hit ended up winning, so I'm thinking maybe I might have to pass on Connor here, just because the size, man. I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely dog a pass for me there too. Zadim, I liked on surface level tape, but you're telling me you're not really tempted. So, and Taveras, Romious, yeah, I didn't have anything in here. Maybe the under, but yeah, I'm definitely going to look into it after what you said you like. All right, we got this comment. Second chance for contender. Thought he will open up as a favorite. Dana was made as F with the stoppage. See, unfortunately, I didn't think so because his first appearance was around 1 KO loss. So, the bookies were never going to be generous with that.
I think that's baked in as well. That's baked in, I think.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, I was hoping for a good line, but it was not going to be. I was like, nah, that result, whether it was early or not, it was still a drop. I shot the drop in that led to that stoppage. So, and I think bookies wiki cap a lot. So it's like around 1 KO loss.
Yeah.
Plus, Romious, bit of hype on him. He's just got a LFA win, quick win in over Nate Williams. But hey, if Subliminal is correct, which every blue moon he is, then the good line on Taveras is better for us. Not going to complain. No worries. Well, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe again. Deep down, very happy this is over. Too many podcasts. Hope everyone enjoyed it. Made some money. Enjoyed the guests. Enjoyed my boy Subliminal. Maybe I'll bring him on for something else other than Contender on like another podcast, mate. But there'll be no guests for a bit. I'm just going to take a bit of a break because 2 podcasts every week for like 10 weeks is just draining. It's going to be more fun. I'll just do it when I feel like it. Anything to add, my friend?
No, just thank you for having me on this season. It's been entertaining. But yeah, definitely I'm willing to come back on another regional show maybe next time you get guests on.
Yeah, well, you'll be the first one I'll hit up, mate. We'll go from there. You finished up the season quite nicely. A little bit of profit, a few units.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nice. That's good, bro. Alrighty, like and subscribe. Goodbye.